It is mid-August. This is my second year of beekeeping. I have 2 hives. Last year, I lost my hives mainly to mites, one especially from mites, the other one maybe moisture. But a lot of people in my area that have been beekeeping for a long time lost lots of their hives. I had friends that had 10 or 12 hives. They lost them all. Last year was a tough year of beekeeping in my area in western North Carolina. I have not gotten any honey this year. I had to start my hives over, but the nice thing about a second year beekeeper is I had drawn comb they could use, and I had a little bit of honey left over that I could feed back to them. But I have not gotten honey yet. I was hoping to maybe harvest a couple weeks ago, and it just wasn't ready. They didn't have a lot of stores. So I haven't peeked in my hives in almost 3 weeks. I'm hoping maybe I can harvest some honey today. This may be my only harvest. Last year I harvested in July and in early October. I have so much jewelweed and goldenrod. It is just crazy. The hives look pretty strong, but I did have some issues earlier in the season. I've lost both my queens, which again, a lot of my friends got their bees from the same place, and they also lost a lot of their queens too. I was hoping to do a split this year. It's basically too late to do a split now. It's the middle of August. I could maybe try it, but there's not too many drones flying around anymore. So I'd have to do it soon if I'm going to do a split. But I'm going to open up the hives, and I'm hoping to harvest honey. I'm only going to harvest honey if they have enough for the winter. But I have a great fall bloom coming up, goldenrod. I mean, we have about 2 acres of goldenrod on the side of our hill, and it's just crazy. So this is what I have for harvesting honey if I'm able to. I'm not extracting it, I'm just harvesting it, taking it off the hives. I do keep track of everything I'm doing with my bee inspection book. I actually, after my first year, I got tired of not knowing the right answers and not keeping track of my inspections. There was just so much to do. So I made an inspection journal. It's on Amazon. But check it out if you want to keep track of your bee inspections like I do. That's what I do. I got a bee brush. I do wear my bee gloves. I don't normally wear them, but when I'm harvesting, I am wearing them. It's just easier. It helps me feel more confident in not getting stung. I got my hive tool, and importantly, I have an empty super so that if I do have honey, I just take the supers out, place them in this super, and on the bottom and top of the super, I have these 2 old lids that I'm going to use to place on the top and bottom, so that when I'm carrying the honey, hopefully, the bees won't be as aggressive when I'm carrying the honey out of the bee yard. There's that stuff called Honey Bee Gone, which I have used that recently at a friend's house, and it is pretty awesome. It's basically, I believe, essential oils that the bees don't like, so they leave the super, and you have very little bees on your super when you're trying to harvest honey and transfer it to an empty box. But let's open up this hive. I have no idea if I'm going to harvest from one hive, from both hives. I may not get any harvest at all right now, but I'm gonna see what happens. I don't know if we'll get honey. This is my deep, then a medium. This is a hive body basically, where most of the brood is. There are a lot of bees, enough that I could probably do a split, but again, it's August. If they made the queen and she mates, that's another 25 days, and by that time, there probably aren't going to be that many drones out, and the chances of that queen being able to mate are pretty low. This is a second medium for that hive, and they're doing okay. They're doing better than they were about 3 weeks ago. They have maybe 80% filled with honey, but only about 30% capped. So I can't get any honey from this hive yet. I may be lucky in another 2 weeks. Maybe I'll be able to harvest. I'm going to put my queen excluder back on this hive. They are laying in this third box a little bit at the bottom where the queen's laying. And sometimes I use the queen excluder, sometimes I don't. Sometimes the bees don't want to go up. It's sometimes called a honey excluder. But I'm going to put my queen excluder back on here, and I'll give it another 2 weeks, and maybe if I'm lucky I'll get some honey from this hive. Next we're going to open up hive B there. I have my hives lettered, A and B. I know there's only 2 hives, but maybe one day I'll have, 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 hives, and then it'll make more sense that I'm lettering everything. But let's go ahead and put this hive back together, and we'll check out hive B, and get it, hive B, and we'll see if there's any honey harvesting happening today. I don't know if there is, but we gotta check, right? I found plenty of brood, eggs in here, brood of all stages. I did not find the queen, but I didn't really look for her. As long as I find young brood, young larvae, and especially if I find eggs, I know my queen's been there within 3 days, and especially if you find eggs, she's probably been there that same day, just probability-wise. But let's go ahead and open up hive B. Bee videos are, in my opinion, some of the hardest videos to make, because you're focusing on the bees, and you're also trying to make a video to share what you're doing, and sometimes you get stung, and then it's also hard to get everything on camera. The priority for me are my bees. I want to keep them safe. I want to keep myself safe, and then I try as much as I can to share what I can in a video as well. This is hive B that we're opening up. Not much smoke. Okay. Okay, definitely not going to be any honey from here, I can tell you already. Drawn frame, but nothing on it. Drawn frame, but nothing on it. Starting to get a little bit of honey, but not really. A little bit of honey. Here's a little bit of honey and some capped honey here. But yeah, they don't seem to have Been making a lot of progress in Hive B. Well, that's okay. I mean, most of the time they say you're not going to get the honey the first year. Last year I got an awesome amount of honey. Partially this year I had that queen loss. Let's pop off this super and we'll see. A very light box here because there's nothing in it. This is the second super of Hive B. This is where most of the bees are at. This is where the action's at. And now these actually look better. Capped honey, this honey is a lot darker. This hive also seems more calm. It's a calm hive. Okay, I see brood, older brood. So I know my queen's been around at least within a week. Here's a nice frame of capped brood. So this is all capped brood. There's a little bit of uncapped brood, younger brood. Looks like a practice queen cell. Maybe another queen cell there, or a queen cup. So the bees are definitely feeding. They're looking good. Will I get honey? I do not know this year. Again, I'm not really going to dig in much deeper just because I've seen young brood. So I know my queen's in there, or was recently in there. If this were a month later, I think a bee just got inside my gloves. Just got stung, people. Even wearing gloves, you get stung. It actually, I think, stung me through the gloves because these are not the world's best bee gloves. So I'm not getting any honey this year, or at least not right now. I think I could still get honey from Hive A, maybe even from Hive B. The fall bloom is starting, and I'm hopeful that it's going to be a good fall bloom. But as of right now, no honey for this beekeeper. Which, you know, that's just how it goes. I'm going to close this up. Was excited that maybe I'd get a small harvest this year. And maybe I will. Time will tell. So thanks for joining us. Hopefully I will get a harvest. Just got to be patient and hope for the best. And if not, my bees look good. I'm going to be treating them soon with Formic Pro, which is going to treat them for mites. But I haven't seen a lot of mites this year, which is good. Yeah, there's not much more to say. I didn't get any honey, and that's a bummer, but I'm just gonna keep on beekeeping. And my main goal is to get these hives through the winter. If I can get honey in a month, great, but I really want to get them through the winter. I don't want to start feeding them right now because I'm hoping to get honey. I don't want sugar water honey. I want actual honey. A little disappointing, but it's all good. So I guess the message is don't give up with beekeeping. Getting honey is just one of the things you get. You know, you get the enjoyment, which is what I really enjoy with beekeeping. Learning about bees, helping others learn about bees. I started a beekeeping club for high school students with a friend of mine. So yeah, just passing on knowledge and learning the art and science of beekeeping is half the joy. Honey's a big part of it, but sometimes you gotta stay positive.